Hello, I'm Shanna, and I want to take a little bit of time to answer some of the most common questions that I get about deism. Um, there's no way that I can answer every single question that I get in one little video, but I really want to take the time to answer some of these because I get them a lot, and I think they're good questions. And I think some of them are shit questions too, and they should be addressed too. The biggest one, the most common one I get is, what is deism? Deism is, in its most basic sense, the belief that reason and the observation of the natural world are sufficient to come to the conclusion that a creator exists, and then a belief in that creator. It could be more than one. Some deists are polytheists. I'm not, but only for the sake of simplicity, not because I really am convinced one way or the other that there are more than one. There could be tons. I have no clue. Deists generally reject prophecy and revelation, special revelation, and scriptures, which would be the prophecy part, miracles, prayer, where you're kind of begging to a genie in a bottle kind of God. Most deists reject that, and that's deism. If you go to any other kind of little tweaks of deism, you're in different sorts of deism, I guess. Deism seems, it's more like a category than it is like a religion. We're not a people. We don't have a book. So, like, there's some figures in history that have been classified as deists, not because they came out and said, hey, I'm a deist. It's because of the description of their beliefs. This is the category that they fall into. People like Einstein and Mark Twain and Voltaire, Plato, Aristotle, Newton, Leonardo da Vinci. These are people that have been classified by historians and various other people as deists, because after hearing the description of their beliefs, that's what they seem to fall into, which is generally the belief in a creator based on reason, observation of the natural world, along with the rejection of revelation, prophecy, intervention, stuff like that. Deist. That's it. How is deism different than Christianity? Okay. Refer to the earlier things that I just said. That's how it's different. Christians do accept special revelation, and they do accept prophecy, and they do accept miracles and the power of prayer. Some of them do, and deists don't. Christianity tends to be more of a faith-based position, and deism tends to be more of an informed position. My deism is informed by science and by philosophy and by my reason and the observation of the natural world. And that's where I get my information from. That's not the only place that Christians get their information from. So there are some of the key differences. I could go on that forever and just dig away, but I'm not going to, because that's not nice. How is deism different than atheism? You seriously get that question like a shit ton. This is so easy. If you ask an atheist, do they think the universe was created, they will go, no. No, I don't think that. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's what happened. Okay, atheist. We ask a deist, do you think the universe was created? I do. I think that's true. Deism. That's the difference. Like, I don't understand why people keep asking me that question. How is it different than it? Actually, I do understand why. It's because of that false dichotomy that exists out in the world, that it's either Christianity or it's atheism. Well, that's nonsense. Christians don't own the idea of God. It doesn't belong to them. It's not their property, right? You can reject Christianity all day long, and that doesn't immediately make you an atheist, because that's just a rejection of Christianity. It doesn't then follow that there is no creator. It only follows that you have then rejected Christianity, right? If you just so happen to become an atheist because of that, that's fine, whatever. But there's a big difference between me and an atheist. So, do you believe in heaven or hell? There's a couple problems with that question, but I'm going to try and not get into it too much. No, I don't believe in a heaven or a hell, because that's a very Christian thing, right? I think that hell is a state of mind. I think that you kind of dig your own little hell and you stay in there. And there are sometimes people that will come and follow you into your hell and drag you out. And then there's times where you can get yourself out of your own hell. But I think hell is a state of mind. I don't think it's a physical place that anyone goes. And I certainly don't think that God punishes or is angry or any of that. Like, that's weird. No. Heaven, same thing. That's a Christian thing. Not just Christian, but I'm going to stick with that because it's sake of simplicity kind of thing. I don't believe in heaven either. As far as like what happens after we die, I have no clue. My suspicions are nothing, but I don't know. I'm not closed off to the idea of something happening after we die, but I have no idea. So I have no beliefs in that regard. Do I pray? No, I do not. I don't think that God's like my personal genie in a bottle that I could petition to. Some deists do pray now in prayer of thanks and recognition. I don't. I do meditate a lot. I've been practicing Zen Buddhism for a very long time. And I think that that's kind of a communion with the divine that resides within me, which is what I think mindfulness and self-reflection and meditation kind of puts me in touch with. Whether or not that's the case, I could be wrong, and that's fine. But that's my communion with the divine, being out in nature, going fishing, experiencing my family, my loved ones, experiencing this life, meditating, reflection. That's how I pray. Like, I don't know. But no, I don't pray as it's commonly understood. What's God's name? That's a stupid question. That's a stupid question. I have no clue. Remember that part about like no special revelation and prophecy and scriptures and stuff? I have no idea if God has a name. To me, that sounds as absurd as, what's that river's name? And will the river answer to that name? What? Naming things is something that we do, right? But names aren't really that. I don't get this obsession with wanting to name the God, right? And then people say, well, haha, you don't know God's name. So what, right? I'm not supposed to, because again, me and God don't talk. We're not buddies, and we don't have conversations. And I don't have a book, and I have no clue. And I think that a name is a concept that probably wouldn't apply to a God. What informs my morality? I love this question. The same thing that informs your morality, your reason and your compassion. Moving on. And then what would change if I were to become an atheist? I love this question. And I love this question because it's such a good question. And it lets me talk about shit I like to talk about. I don't think that anything would change. My deism doesn't inform my morality. My deism doesn't inform how I treat people, which is kind of my morality. It doesn't inform how I vote. It doesn't inform how I think, how I conduct my day-to-day life, or how I raise my children. My reason and my observation of the natural world and my compassion informs these things. And so if I were to be convinced tomorrow that, the universe was decidedly not created, and decidedly is a strong word, but if I were to find that more likely to be the case than not tomorrow, I would still have my reason and my compassion and my observation of the natural world, and still that would still exist. I would still find beauty in this life. I would still think that life's a precious thing. I would still think that we're all connected, because we are. We all come from this universe. We're not above this universe. We're not above nature. We are nature. We are a part of nature. We're like an apple on the tree, as it were, not the tree keeper. We're children of the universe. And I think that that's beautiful. And I would still think that's beautiful if I was an atheist. And that, in a way, that connects us all, to me. We're all made of the same things at a very basic level. The same atoms that, are in you, are the atoms that are in me. I mean, not the exact same, but you get my point. Came from the same place. We came about the same way. The only thing that makes us different from our atoms and the atoms in, my pen, are that we are a thought, that we are awake, the lights are on, as it were. And that would still be the case if I were an atheist. So nothing other than I wouldn't think that the universe was created. I would see design in a different way. I would see, purpose in a different way. But that's it. It wouldn't change my behavior or how I view the world or how I treat people. I tried to make this as quick as possible. I think I ran through a few questions in less than 10 minutes, which is badass. If you have any more questions, feel free. If I didn't clarify enough, feel free to leave a comment, send me a message. I don't mind talking about this at all. I thank you for your time, and enjoy.